welcome back to the channel Starseekers. My name's GotCake and today I'm bringing you a review of a very unusual game which goes by the name of Phogs or PHOGs. It's a physics-based puzzle platformer game where you control a PHOG or a pair of PHOGs, or perhaps the creature itself is called a PHOG. Either way, it's basically two dog heads connected together in a worm-like formation, and you and a friend have to control each head simultaneously to make your way through levels, solving puzzles and collecting bones as you go. But are two heads better than one, or is the game just a pile of old PHOG shit? Let's dive heads first into this review and find out. So to kick things off in PHOGs, first you get to select what kind of control scheme to use. One great thing about PHOGs is it can be played by one or two players, and both players can actually share the same controller, which is great if you don't have a separate controller for each player. If you do choose to play in two-player mode, each of you gets to control a single head, and you can also play the game in online multiplayer. But I will say now that you really need to be able to communicate with the other player, as the game requires a lot of teamwork and precision at times. Unfortunately, there is no built-in voice comms for the game, so you're either going to have to download the official Nintendo Switch Online app or sort out some other form of voice comms. I was playing the game online with Switch Corner using Discord voice chat, and even then things can descend into chaos. Of course, this was entirely his fault as he constantly bossed me around and bullishly dragged my poor old PHOG through each level. So when you first start the game, you dropped into a sort of hub area. Here you see a shiny golden gate with three icons on it representing the three worlds in PHOGs, and the objective of the game is to complete each world and open the door. Each world consists of 7 different levels, with each level generally containing multiple stages within it, and I have seen some complaints about the pricing of the game, but in all honesty I think the pricing is pretty fair for the content that you're getting. Now, before you can get stuck into each of the game's 3 worlds, you first need to complete a bit of a tutorial level which teaches you the controls via a few basic puzzles. As mentioned before, in 2-player mode each player controls a single head, but in single player mode you control both heads, with the left thumbstick moving the blue head and the right thumbstick moving the red head. I'll tell you now though that despite this colour coding, I guarantee you'll still get mixed up at times with which thumbstick moves which head. Now, as well as worming your way around, you can also perform a couple of actions with your PHOGs. The R and L buttons enable each of them to buy and grab a hold of objects, while the ZL and ZR buttons allow you to stretch the body out, and you'll be using both of these extensively throughout your time playing. As you climb the tutorial tower, you'll encounter a few simple puzzles to put these skills to the test, such as swinging from ring to ring, dragging various objects about, pulling levers or activating buttons to open doors. And once you reach the top, you'll then drop back into the hub area, where 3 platforms will raise up, allowing you to travel to any of the game's 3 worlds. Now, each world revolves around a different theme. You have the sleep world with its cosy looking pillars and calming purple tones, food world packed with all kinds of tasty morsels, and the fun-packed play world filled with all sorts of fun and games. Each world has its own hub area for you to explore, and in order to enter each world's levels you'll have to hop into the mouths of these giant worms. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of each world's puzzles to avoid spoilers, but I will say that it feels like there's been a lot of thought put into the game's level designs and puzzles. To start with, the game's visuals are outstanding, with each world's appearance and the features making them uniquely different. And I love the vibrant colours of the worlds and all the little details and cute characters you encounter in them. When it comes to the puzzles, the worlds share some common mechanics, but the way in which they're used to solve puzzles ensures they don't feel overused. For example, in each world you'll need to interact with an object with one head, such as a glowing orb, a water spout or an air spout, and you'll then need to direct beams of light, water or air with the other head, using them to interact with other objects in the world, making blocks disappear or appear, activating fans with them, or watering vegetables to make them grow. The dream world features some cool illusions and gravity-defying physics for you to tackle. The player world has some cool mini-games for you to play, And the food world sees you bouncing all over the place on pumpkins and manhandling little creatures who are intent on eating anything and everything in sight. Now within each level, the primary objective is to solve the puzzles and enter the snakes to move on to the next section of the level, with levels generally consisting of 3 separate sections. You can choose to focus on just completing puzzles and working your way through levels, but each level contains a number of bones and a strange doll called a boingle for you to find and collect. Now in most levels, obtaining bones requires you to solve additional puzzles, such as returning items to characters in a level or helping them out with some sort of problem that they're having, though there are some bones out in the open which usually require a bit of tricky platforming to get to. The boingles on the other hand are generally pretty well hidden, and I only actually managed to find a few of them in my playthrough. Now I didn't actually work out exactly what the boingles were used for, but the bones can be spent in shops found in each world to buy a ton of different hats to dress your pogs up in, and while they don't change gameplay in any way, I thought they were pretty cute and a neat little addition giving you reason to work through all the puzzles the game has to offer. So while I really enjoyed my time playing Pogs and I thought that it had a lot to offer, I did experience a few minor issues with the game. First and foremost, the game features a fixed camera which can at times make it harder to control your Pogs, as it frequently shifts angles and some angles can make it difficult to judge the distance or height of platforms. While the game's frame rate is generally pretty solid, it does dip at times which can cause issues, and whilst playing online, some of the puzzles can be problematic if they require precise timing. Here for example, me and Switch Corner are trying to pop balloons and need to release the launcher at the same time. But when he counts down from 3, there is a slight delay with me hearing his counting.
3, 2, 1, go.
So we kept releasing at slightly different times. Finally, the game's control scheme, whilst also pretty solid, can be a little problematic. Sometimes it can be difficult to direct one of the heads in a specific direction, and movement can feel a little slippery like you're moving on ice. Despite the aforementioned issues though, Pogs is still an excellent game, with some great level design and a lot of fun and frustration to be had, especially with 2 players. It's clear that a lot of love and effort has been put into the game, and it's definitely one to pick up if you're looking for a co-op game to play over Christmas, though I would say that some of its puzzles might be a little tricky for younger children to solve on their own. So now let's get on to rating the game. Now I rate games between 1 and 5 stars, with a shovelware stamp of approval reserved for the worst games on the eShop. This rating is based on my own personal opinion on the quality and quantity of a title's gameplay, and whether I think it offers value for money to potential buyers. For a rating, I'd give Pogs 4 out of 5 stars. Pogs is both cute and surreal, and while it does have a few issues which can make sections of some levels a little more frustrating than they should be, it still offers an overall enjoyable and unique co-op experience, and some tasty eye candy for your eyebulbs to chow down on. You can get Pogs from the UK Switch eShop for £22.49, or from the US eShop for $24.99. Alternatively, the game's also available on PlayStation, Xbox and Steam. And that's it for this review of Pogs. Don't forget to hit that like button if it helped you out, and let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. As always, consider subscribing to the channel for future Switch reviews and content, and feel free to join the community on the Starseekers Discord server. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, stay safe and game on.